If there is a silver lining in this pandemic, it may just take someone who is homeless to help put things into perspective.
Because this last winter, I would have froze to death. I would have.
Thank you for keeping it with us for a special half hour at The Landing MN in Rochester. This nonprofit is new and it could lose its federal CARES Act funding, and that threatens its future. Operating as a day center where people who don't have their own place to call home come to get fed, get a shower, and get simple necessities. It has only been in existence a few short years, started by this man, Dan Fifield. He's the founder of The Landing, which operates out of the old firehouse in Silver Lake. Granted an extension back in March by the city to continue its operations. Come August, when federal CARES Act funding runs out, so too could their time.
Well, I think there's a lot of concern budget-wise. You know, we've been able to cover our staffing expense with the CARES Act funds. It's not come out of the city coffers. There's been some money that's come out of the city, as I understand it, for covering library staff when they did the, for instance, the day center, because they ran it first at the Mayo Civic Center. So there's been some city dollars that have come in, but the vast majority is through federal grants, state and federal money. So it's really not been a pull on the tax base of the city, from what I understand. Right now, as far as cost to run the day center, our staffing costs right now are between $25,000 and $30,000 a month, just because we have staff that we pay a decent wage to, that comes in and helps us care for this population to make sure that they're safe, warm, and cared for.
What happens, in your opinion, from what you see, the folks you serve, and you get to know them, what happens if you're not here?
They're going to be back downtown. They're going to be back in the skyways. They're going to be back to where they were pre-pandemic. And yes, the services that were there pre-pandemic are still there. Some of them have come back to full function. Some of them are not. Some of them you still have to do virtually. How do you do a virtual meeting if you don't have any virtual way to do it? We have that here. We have a legal aid kiosk that they can do their court hearings on here. We can set them up on that to do virtual meetings. Do
you help those who want work? Do you help them find a job?
Yeah, it's a struggle because we're dealing with individuals that have histories. We do the best that we can as far as that's concerned. Could we do better? Yes. If we had an expanded facility with more staff to help do that, we could do a whole lot of things better than what we do.
So at this point, you're just looking to maintain, whereas, as I hear it, it would be so much more beneficial if not only you maintain, but you got increased funding at the end of the CARES Act to be able to expand what you can do.
Right, exactly. I mean, there are other organizations that we've talked with that would love to come in under our roof to be able to work with these individuals that are here. They're here. They feel safe here. We've built relationships with them. They trust us. We've partnered with Mayo Community Paramedicine Program. So we have paramedics that come in from the Community Paramedicine Program 2 days a week, and they take care of the needs of our friends that have medical issues, high blood pressure, diabetes, wound care, getting them set up for doctor's appointments, things of that nature that they didn't have before.
Let me ask you this, Dan, and I've asked you this before, but for people who haven't seen our past interviews, why do you do this? This seems like a lot of emotion. Your life is put into this.
You're going to make me cry now.
This isn't just a job.
No, it's not a job. I walked away from my dream job to do this because it's what God wanted us to do. Holly and I got the calling, in November of 2018 when I had a run-in.
When you left your job?
When I left my job,
medical job.
Yeah, I was an ER nurse, and I had a family of 5 that were struggling, that were homeless, living in their car. Their little girl got frostbite toes, and I got suspended for 2 days for trying to find them a shelter. The accusation was made that I gave them my personal contact information, which I didn't. But
regardless, you did that.
Right.
From your heart.
Right. And long and short of the deal is that we do it because we love these people. We do it because it's what God wants us to do. These folks have 0. And we just try and get them to 1 or even 0.25 and show them that somebody cares, that somebody wants to help them.
I'm continuing my conversation now with the Landing MN's director. He founded the Landing, and what losing the federal CARES Act funding is going to mean, not just for the center as a whole, but to the people it serves. But don't you ever want to throw up your hands and say, I just can't do this anymore?
Oh, every day. But, you know, it's not what I'm supposed to do.
To fight anonymous people who don't want you has got to be among the hardest, especially when in your heart you know you're doing what's right.
Well, you know, and you're right, it is. It makes me sad. It makes me sad that people don't care. The individuals that we get to work with, that we have the privilege of working with, are some of the nicest, kindest, gentlest people that you could ever come across.
But you do have people who care because you've got some really great support.
Yeah, well, you know, and I get that, and I know that there are people out there that support us. Sad thing is not everybody knows who we are, what we do. There's people in Rochester that have no clue we have a homeless issue. We have homeless people. You know, it baffles me, some of the things that I hear and have to put up with.
I knew you before this became a reality. I've known you through it. We could talk more, darn pandemic. But you do have support. I hope that through this you'll find more support and that people will step up and do what needs to be done. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all we can ask for. You know, Kim Norton has been a huge supporter of ours and what she can do. We had a great talk on Saturday. She was here. She saw what we did, or what we do. And
well, if you've got the mayor in your corner,
yeah,
that's a pretty big support system right there.
Yeah, and you know, I can't. You know, I wish there were some other people that were in our corner as well. But
remember when you were trying to get this up and running, and you kept getting told, "Who's Dan Fifield?
Oh,
Why
sure.
does Dan Fifield want to do this?" And even the mayor. It was more about not really knowing you. Now, time has transpired. I think there's a relationship with you and the mayor. There's maybe some new trust. And so hopefully she's a big proponent of helping those who are homeless.
Yep, and she has been, and it's you know, it's sad that there are other entities that, you know, that don't see it that way. And it's heartbreaking. But we will continue to do what we do in some way, shape, and form. I would like to do it in a building of our own. I would like to do it. But we need, you know, I mean, it boils down to dollars and cents. And
when the CARES Act funding ends, is that where kind of your line is going to be? Well,
I mean, we have you know, been able to save up a substantial amount of money that we can work from. But you know, the goal was to use that for a down payment on a building.
Would you like to stay in this one? Or are you really looking for something?
I think all in all, I think we would much rather be in a newer, bigger facility. Right now we're hobbled with one shower. I mean, you have to figure we do 10 showers a day, and you know, I mean, 10,000 showers since November 1st have been taken here. You know, hundreds of loads of laundry have been done. I'm surprised that they were brand new washer and dryer when we started. I'm surprised they haven't broken down yet for all the loads we do. I mean, it's running all day long.
So the needs haven't stopped.
Yeah, the needs have just grown. Yeah. You know, 384 unique individuals have been through the doors of the center, of the day center, since February 1st, Betsy. And you figure, so say half of those people are truly homeless, right? So there's what? That's 190, is that right? Yeah, 190-ish homeless people that are seeking services through us in 2 months. That's a big number for a town of Rochester's size. And it keeps getting bigger. There's more people coming in. You know, we just sent somebody back up to Minneapolis that came down here for treatment that wasn't successful. Rather than to have him stay down here and be homeless, we sent him back up to where he came from, which we're more than happy to do. You know, puts him in a better environment than what he was in. And, you know, it reduces our count by one.